when he pulled me over, he walked up, opened my door because my window don't work, right? Okay. And then I said, so what I did wrong? Yeah. He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, okay. There's multiple people headlights off, first of all. And then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Can you call your supervisor?
Huh?
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here. I'm here. What is your reason, sir? Step out. What is your reason? Step out now. All right. No, don't. Get on the ground. Stop fighting. Put your hands on your back.
Welcome back to Stephen A. Smith Show. What you just saw was the cell phone video taken by William McNeil Jr. during a traffic stop on February 19th in Jacksonville, Florida. After being pulled over for allegedly driving without his headlights on in bad weather, you see an officer smashes the driver's side window, orders McNeil to exit the car and hits him in the face. Another officer pulls him from the vehicle and throws him to the ground as other deputies surround him, like I said, as you just saw. The video immediately went viral after McNeil posted it early this week. McNeil was arrested and charged with resisting arrest, marijuana possession, driving with a suspended license, not wearing a seatbelt, and not having headlights in bad weather, court records cited by ABC News showed. He was sentenced to and served 2 days in jail. In a police report, one of the arresting officers, D. Bowers, said McNeil was reaching toward an area where there was a knife. McNeil's attorneys, lawyers Benjamin Crump and Harry Daniels, said their client was never combative. Here is what Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters had to say about the incident and the investigation.
First of all, let me stop you. Not a sucker punch. I'm not excusing that administratively. I'm going to say that to you one more time. I'm not excusing that administratively. There are things that we definitely need to look at. But the context of this video should tell you everything you need to know.
Well, again, I take it. It looks like it's a sucker punch because he's looking straight and you see this.
Right.
Okay, and then you see them pull him out and you see a couple of punches to the face. Now, again, I understand breaking the window, but he charged him with resisting arrest without violence. So I saw a lot of violence. I think the public saw a lot of violence against somebody that was not violent.
Well, first of all, Eric, don't try to talk the public into what they saw. They just saw the same video as you saw. So what I'm saying is that it is what it is. This is the information that I want to share with the public in context without a short clip. It's very important to do that.
Thus far, no officers are facing criminal charges, as the Florida State Attorney's Office has concluded the officers did not violate any criminal laws. Bowers has been stripped of his law enforcement authority pending the outcome of an administrative review, according to Waters. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office released body camera footage of the incident, which showed the initial minutes of the traffic stop that the cell phone footage didn't capture. Take a look at this.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely there's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights. And it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement?
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
Sorry, 35. I'm proper driver. I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle. I'm about to break the window.
All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hands.
Here.
1033 at 15.1 hours.
What is your reason, sir? Step out. What is your reason? Step out now. No, don't.
Get on the ground. Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
You see this look on my face? I'm pissed off. This officer, D. Bowers, has been stripped of his law enforcement authority pending the outcome of an administrative review. Me personally, if he was cited for assault, if he was suspended without pay, I have no problem with that. But that is not why I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off at McNeil. What are you doing? What are you doing? Thank God you didn't get shot. The door was open, ladies and gentlemen, when he was talking to the officer. When the officer said, get out of the car, he shut the door and locked it. And listen, you know, just to make sure you understand my position. They asked him, why is the door open? He said his window was broke. He couldn't roll down his window. So that's why the door was open. But it doesn't negate the fact that he closed the door once the officer asked him to get out the car. It doesn't negate that fact. Prior to him shutting the door and locking it, he was talking to the officer. You see the footage right there with his left hand. His right hand wasn't revealed. You don't know what the officer could have thought of. You don't know what that officer could have assumed. We're talking police brutality, right? We're talking brutality on the part of police officers, right? The first order of business is to be safe, to make sure you survive and live another day. I don't call it police brutality. I call it brutality on the part of some police officers because I don't believe every police officer is a criminal. I believe most police officers fulfill their duties to protect and serve. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking physically, physiologically. We're talking the actual facts. Look at the video. The door is open. One arm is exposed, not both. The windows aren't rolled down. You don't know what kind of a threat he is if you are a police officer. You could have assumed anything. This kid right here, William McNeil Jr., do you realize you could have been dead? Do you realize you could have gotten shot? Do you realize that you could have been Tyree Nichols, who got beaten to death by those Memphis police officers? I ain't forget that. And how egregious and heinous they were. These officers didn't do that. And oh, by the way, before we get to the black issue, before we really touch on that, Officer T.K. Waters, Sheriff T.K. Waters, that was a black man up there. That was a black man up there. Don't suddenly go to route of blue because we want to forget that he's black too. We're not excusing Bowers. No excuse to punch him in the face. No excuse whatsoever. Zero. And he should be reprimanded for that. He'll be lucky if he keeps his job. Or he's taken off the streets and confined to desk duty for the rest of his career. We don't know. Nobody's excusing that. Tell me something else they did wrong. Take away the punch and tell me what they did wrong. You get pulled over. The officer is talking to him when he's looking through the passenger side window. He tells the officer, show me the law. Who do you think you are? They're law enforcement, not law educators. Their job is to enforce the law, not to educate you about the law. You get pulled over, you roll your windows down, you put your hand on the steering wheel. That's what you do. You don't sit up there and say to the officer, show me the law. You don't turn around after opening the door and the officer tells you to get out the car to shut and lock the door. forcing them to break the window, ask you to get out, again, officers should be reprimanded that punched him in the face. Not once, but twice. Punched him in the face in the car, and then punched him in the face again after he got him out the car. No excuse for that. That's excessive. No doubt about it. And that officer needs to be dealt with. There was nothing else that was the officer's fault. And that's hard for me to say. Number one, because I'm a black man and I'm usually leaning towards that. Number two, Benjamin Crump is his attorney of record. That's my brother right there. I love that man. But this driving while black assertion, you lose all of that when you acting like that. Because you see, I'm thinking about my nephews. I'm thinking about family. I'm thinking about my boys. I'm thinking about black people. How many people are going to get away with just that if you act like that? The officer is talking to you. And then you insist on him showing you the law. This brother goes to Livingston, HBC. I'm rooting for you. I'm trying to find where you're right. The officer spoke to you. You said, show me the law. The officer comes around, another officer's talking to you. You have your door open. Your door is already open. And you're talking to him. But you're concealing your right arm because you're sitting in a driver's seat. The officer don't know what you got in your arm. The officer don't know that. And then you shut the door with the windows rolled up and you lock the door? No. We can't condone that, ladies and gentlemen. I'll go anywhere, any place, anytime and say, we can't do that. You don't get to do that. If the officer asks you to step out the car, you have a right to ask, what did you do wrong? If the officer identifies what they believe you did wrong, that's what the courts are for. And I hate that, and I hate to have to say that because everybody don't have money to be going to court. And they don't have the time to be going to court and dealing with that bureaucracy where officers are usually favored, by the way. No, we don't have time. I got it. But that's the predicament he put himself in. What was the charges that were ultimately filed against him? Charged with resisting arrest, marijuana possession, driving with a suspended license. Years ago, I'm covering the Philadelphia 76ers game for the Philadelphia Inquirer as a beat writer. I'm in Michigan, driving from the Palace at Auburn Hills to the Romuald Marriott near the airport. I've got 3 journalists in the car with me. I'm driving. I get pulled over. 8 cops surrounded the car. They pulled me over. Said, what did I do? They came up, you're driving, you were speeding. I didn't think I was, but okay. They took my license and the rent-a-car registration, turned around, came back to the car, told me to get out the car. 8 officers surrounded the car. I didn't think that was necessary. But I got my ass out that car. And they ultimately put me in handcuffs and sent me and took me to the jail in Troy, Michigan. I was driving with a suspended license and didn't know because I had a speeding ticket. I paid the speeding ticket, but since it got there late, license was still deemed suspended because I had a $15 late charge that I hadn't paid. I thought it was much ado about nothing. I want to sue their asses, throwing me in jail for hours. And the only reason I got out is because a dear friend of mine, Audrey, kept pummeling them with phone call after phone call after phone call while she was working for CNN to get me out of there. Bail was $250. I had $241 on me. And they wouldn't let me out because I was $9 short. Boy, was I pissed off. And I wanted to sue. And I knew the district attorney in that town. But I went home to mama. And I told the mama, and my mother said, what did you do? I said, I didn't do anything. They said I was speeding. She says, what did you do? I said, I just told you I didn't do anything. She says, what did they say you did? And I said, they ultimately said I was driving with a suspended license. She says, was your license suspended? I said, I paid the ticket. She said, then why was it suspended? I said, because they said it was a late charge that I didn't pay. She said, see? So you were driving with a suspended license because you didn't pay the ticket on time, and the late fee that came with it, you didn't take care of it. That's on you. Had you not been driving with a suspended license, they wouldn't have asked you to get out of the car and arrested you. And you wouldn't be in this predicament. It's on you. William McNeil Jr., this is on you. Not the punch in the face, not the violence, but that broken window, you ultimately being arrested, that's on you. They pull you over, show your driver's license registration. Period. Because what you did could have got you severely harmed, if not killed. With all due respect, I got this line from Spock in the Star Trek movies. The lives of the many outweigh the lives of the few. I wish you nothing but the best, brother. Hope you in school, great grades, getting your education, and whatever it is you're going to do with your life, you do it well. Not rooting against you, nothing like that. But I got an obligation, having these airwaves available to me, to look out for the lives of the many, not just yours. And most folks, unfortunately, discriminately, black folks who acted the way that you acted when pulled over by a police officer would find themselves far more harmed than you did. I don't recall any time in my lifetime where I can see a black man talking to a police officer is actually talking to him, and he says to the police officer, show me the law. And then they ask him to get out of the vehicle, and he shuts his door closed, the driver's side door that he had open, shuts it, locks the door, prevents the police officer from getting in, where they got to crash the window in order to unlock the door and get him out. I have not seen that. It reminded me of Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins last year or a little while ago when he was sitting up there looking at the police officer. Hold on, dog, hold on. What do you mean, hold on? They snatched his ass out of the car and said, you don't tell us to hold, we tell you to hold on. Law enforcement. They're not law professors. They're not a district attorney or a defense lawyer. They are law enforcement. It is literally their job to enforce the law. And if they say you broke the law and they're asking you to exit the vehicle, and by the way, they didn't originally ask you to exit the vehicle. They were actually having a conversation with you. They didn't just pull up, not tell you what they pulled you over for, and demanded you got out the car. They was talking to you first. You asked, what were you being pulled over for? They told you. And you still refuted. I can't sit here and condone that, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to get black folks killed. The lives of the many outweigh the lives of the few. That officer that punched him in the face not once but twice, suspend his ass. I got it. TK Waters, that sheriff, that's a black man right there. That officer standing by his side over his left shoulder, that was a black man. at least one of the officers that were outside the car that watched the other officers detain him, that was a black man. Now, I know that the officers in Memphis, with their trifling, disgusting criminal selves, the murderers that they are, I understand they were black too. So this ain't about black is right if you're a police officer or anything like that. I understand it. But you can't do what William McNeil Jr. did. You can't do that. You do something like that, it's going to get you killed. I'm not saying this to condemn him. I'm happy he's alive. And I hope this all goes away. I'm saying you can't do what he did and expect to end up on the right side of things. At the very least, for most of us, it'll get us hurt real bad. Possibly killed. I'm happy he's alive. I'm happy the lawyer didn't assume, oh man, I might see I think I saw a weapon. I couldn't see. He was concealing his right arm. I don't know what he was going to do. I'm thankful that didn't happen. I'm thankful. As frustrating as it may be, we're a nation of laws for a reason. You can't openly defy police officers like that and expect things to go your way. You just can't.